Well, we have recovered from the TikTok ban, Mover Nation. Here we are, another day. I got lots to talk about today, lots to share about my life. My little sidekick, Miss Queen Marisol, is with me, and we're about ready to talk about some stuff, I think. So on that note, Mover Nation, hey, let's get into it as soon as I can find the intro. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in which Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife, Maureen.
The boy confidently told the jury it was his decision to testify against his father.
I heard a scream, I heard a thud. It's about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, and always with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show.
Live from Santa Monica, California, Mover Nation, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Wherever you may be and however you may be watching or listening, thanks for making me a part of your day. Marisol is here. Marisol, say hi to everybody. We will have our Marisol camera up in a second. I have treats for her, and she is very, very excited. Oh, boy, vey. I don't know why this particular thing is not working on the other computer, but anyways, we are going to talk about some things today. We got the TikTok ban. We got California wildfires in the house. There's another fire raging about in Castaic area, which is about 35 miles north of me. So please pray for that community, the community of Newhall and Castaic, which is off the 14. Done a lot of filming up there. Did some reality shows. Did Broken Skull Ranch with what is his name? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh yes, Marisol, we have to get you your bully stick so you can participate. Oh nope, that's not it. Oh man, I guess the camera's not gonna work. Maybe we'll plug it in. Our Marisol camera will be up in a second. Sorry guys. There we go. There she is. All right. Marisol. She's here. Hi, sweetheart. All right, we got bully sticks, which are on our wish list. If you guys actually are, I don't think they're on the wish list anymore. We need to get some bully sticks for Marisol. All right, so let's see here. Okay, look at this. Are you excited, sweetheart? This is your treat that makes you chill out, right? All right, sit. No, sit. Oh, you're dancing. You're dancing. You're doing a little dance for everybody? Okay, there you go. And then she goes away. All right, there we have it. She has made the queen has made her cameo, as we like to say. She is here. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's here. Stone Cold, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, Broken Skull Ranch. That was way back in the day. I used to sit on a camera, what they call the crow's nest, which is at the top. You're in a Well, I wasn't on a crane, but no, sometimes you're on a crane, but you're about like 60 to 80 feet. You're on a platform essentially overlooking and shooting down. That was kind of wild because yours truly is just a little bit afraid of heights. So, yeah, that was an interesting experience for certain. That was back in 2015. That was 10 years ago. Wow. I have some messages coming in from people and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the okay. Here we go. All right. Fantastic. Turn it on. Mute. All right. So I guess I didn't download what I needed to download for you guys. What is going on? I want to give a shout out to everybody who's here. Thank you so much for joining. I have been, I've been working on a couple new projects. So I've been unfortunately unable to do as much as I'd like to do with content creation for you guys. And I really, I was really realizing this week, I miss it a lot. And I'm happy to be sitting here in front of you because, I just feel very grateful to be here to doing stuff. And it's been, I've burning the candle at both ends over here as per the usual. What else is new? All right. I got to get somebody to work on getting all our stuff uploaded to StreamYard. That is a goal for 2025. Yeah, I missed you guys and I miss making content. But I'm getting back to it. I am working on a documentary project. I am working on doing some content creation for some other creators. And that has kind of been taking all of my time recently. But I was thinking about this whole TikTok situation this weekend and how it was the rug pull that was. And I produce a podcast called Mad Rush with Trisha Addicts, which is Trisha. If you guys are not listening to the podcast, please check it out on Apple Podcasts. It's called Mad Rush with Trisha Addicts. And Trisha is the original sorority rush consultant. However, her podcast, we interview people who are not involved in sororities. We interview thought leaders and all talk about sorority related things, of course, absolutely. But we also, thought leaders and business entrepreneurs and successful people in various industries. And she had on a guest yesterday. Her name is Windsor Western, and she is from Her Campus Media. She was at Harvard when Facebook started, and she started this Her Campus Media. They serve a lot of they create influencers out of, well, they allow young college women to be able to have the opportunity to get involved in media and in creative media, which is really, really cool. And they do promotions on campus. When I went to college, there was always people hawking the credit card applications in front of the dining room or what have you, cafeteria, dining hall, I think is what we call it. So kind of like that. But she was talking about how the observation of TikTok has given just about everybody the ick, especially with creators. So I want to talk a little bit about that. My neighbors, I had a weird package show up on my doorstep, but this is from my neighbors downstairs. I talk about them a lot. They're the Tunisians. They left me some cookies, which sadly, I do not need to have because, yes, this morning I got on the scale. And I have gained 9 pounds since August, which was surprising to me. I haven't been on the scale since August. I pulled up the app. I hadn't weighed myself since then. So we will be losing that immediately. Yes. Very like, oh, this doesn't fit quite the way it used to. So the holidays have reared their ugly head on my diet. So there you go. We're gonna lose that weight as fast as humanly possible. So TikTok ban that never was. But speaking of health and all of that stuff, I watched last night a documentary called Don't Die. And this documentary is about a gentleman named Brian Johnson. And you may have heard of this guy. He has a YouTube channel. He has a YouTube channel. He is big on the Twitter sphere. He is on social media. And he is a man, he's like my age, maybe a year older. He is known in the business world for creating Venmo. It was called Braintree Venmo, and he sold it. He made a lot of changes in his life, but I don't want to spoil a documentary for anyone, but I'm going to talk about it because as somebody who's a documentary filmmaker, and right now, one of the things that's consuming some of my time is I am getting ready to potentially make another documentary as well. So we're in the pre-production phase of that and figuring out budgets and all this stuff and if we're going to do it. It's very exciting because I haven't shot a film since the end of 2023. So I'm pretty excited. That's only been a year, I guess. It's mostly been about all of my content. But I'm very excited. I'm going to be directing this project and I'll talk more about it in the future. Should we close on getting it done? I'm very excited. But anyways, so watching some documentary films. And so I know Brian Johnson because I followed him on like Twitter, social media. He is obsessed with longevity and essentially not dying. There was another documentary that came out years ago about a gentleman named Ray Kurzweil. You might know that name, Kurzweil keyboards. He also made a hearing and listening device for people who are hearing impaired. But he was obsessed also with the sort of notion of eternal life, but also living forever and living forever, but not just being healthy as long as you can. He would take like something like 200 vitamins a day and stuff. And Transcendent Man, I believe it was nominated for an Oscar. I think it came out probably 2010, 2011, 2012, something like that, around that time. Fascinating film. You should check it out. So this is like my generation's version of Transcendent Man. So it's called Don't Die. So it's about Brian Johnson. And I've looked, I've seen his stuff on social media. I find what he talks about very interesting. I'm into like health and nutrition, mind the extra 9 pounds. I'm into health and nutrition and working out and exercising and leading a healthy life. That's my thing. I really love. But, he's experimenting with things like gene therapy, human growth hormone, all these things. And, I would see his stuff, and I know I have a friend who had a podcast that was supposed to interview him, and he didn't end up doing it. He sort of committed and then was like, no, I can't do it. I understand the guy's very busy, but so I was kind of like, I'm not really sure about this guy. So I watched the film, and about 10 minutes into it, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I don't know about this. I think this guy is a little into himself. I think he's kind of a narcissistic pursuit. I don't know. So I was kind of, he rubbed me the wrong way. I had kind of a little bit of about him. And then he starts talking about his son Talmadge. And then he starts sharing his whole journey of when he looked like this. And this is a pretty healthy picture of him. Brian Johnson has 3 children. He was married. He founded Venmo. He created Venmo because out of a need that when he got out of college, he needed to pay bills. He had a kid, he had another kid on the way or something like that. And so he's like, I got to get a job. And the only job that he could get was doing credit card processing door to door, selling like credit card processing for people. I don't know how you sell that door to door, but there's a whole other day, a long time ago. But he created the concept of Venmo because he saw PayPal, but he didn't see anything else that he really liked. And he wanted businesses. And anyways, that doesn't matter. But he was a member of the Mormon church and he had all the things. He was successful. He was married. He had the children and he was freaking miserable. He was contemplating self-harm. He was severely depressed and he was striving to make a change. So he sold his company. He got a divorce. He left the church and he moved to LA and he went on this quest for, lack of a better word, immortal life or eternal life or immortality. And it was fascinating. That's when the documentary really took hold of me. Look, I made A Murder in Mansfield. I've made several documentaries. I made 1946. If you guys haven't seen that, check it out. It just came out on streaming services. So check it out. 1946, the mistranslation that shifted a culture. But I was really impacted by his personal journey. His personal journey of he wanted to better himself. He wasn't in a good place. And you would think in his religion, he's prominent, he's wealthy, he has children, all the things that a lot of people strive for in life. And he's just like, it just wasn't working for him. And he was absolutely miserable. So he went on this quest to amp up his nutrition, to really take charge of his life, exercise, eat well, live well, be happy. But in turn, he ended up losing like his entire family and was ostracized from the church. Look, I don't know a lot about the LDS faith or Mormonism, but I know that church is very important. And if you leave, you're sort of excommunicated, so nobody talks to you. So this is from what I understand. If somebody wants to speak on it in the chat, you can. But he talks about that very painful process, and he's able to, in this documentary, he gets his oldest son, Talmadge, to come stay with him for 150 days before he's supposed to go off to college, which is really cool. But just the bond that he had with his son. And honestly, like I was watching and I was crying teary-eyed because I was taken aback by the love and the relationship that he had with his son, which is something that I obviously never got to have with my father because he's a psychopath. I was kind of like, looking at the baby pictures and thinking like, oh, wow, that's a really beautiful thing. And he's so vulnerable in this documentary. It changed my complete opinion of him. He's so vulnerable. It's so amazing. I mean, the stuff he does is with the gene therapy and all this stuff is really wild and really pretty extreme. But the compassion and the way that he approaches his relationship with his son and the way that he approaches his relationship with his own father. And there's a scene in the film, again, spoiler alert, but where his father had apparently been arrested for drug use, was in a bad time, a dark time himself. And the only person that came to see him in jail was Brian. And he said, Brian came to the jail, and instead of him pontificating and telling me I was bad or shameful or trying to, say, why did you do this to us? He said, we're going to get you better, Dad. We're going to get you better. Was just an optimist. And I thought, man, that guy's a good egg. Now, I know there's a lot of things, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions about people who are very wealthy, who live in Los Angeles, who are very wealthy, and people who undertake these types of things on their bodies. But yeah, that's him with his son. I left the credit on there for the Telegraph. That's his son, Talmadge. They're like spitting images of each other, but they have this like best friend relationship, and you can tell he's really yearning for connection with his son, and he's so vulnerable. He's sitting there on the floor talking to him about how he's going to be distraught when he goes to college, but how he understands that this is his thing. Don't give Brian Johnson too much credit. He invented Braintree and then bought Venmo and then sold Venmo Braintree. Oh, well, that's interesting to know, Helen Tudor Douglas. Thank you so much. But I was just impressed with his compassion and how he was, the relationship that he had with his son, I thought was really, really compelling. And by the way, thank you so much, Helen Tudor Douglas, for the generous super chat, generous super sticker. You're always a staunch supporter of the program, and I thank you very much. That's amazing. Thank you. He was, I was really impressed with the vulnerability. It's hard to do that when a camera turns on you. And, yeah, I highly recommend you see it. It's as I said, it's this transcendent, my generation's transcendent man, which is elder millennial, I suppose. Anyways, I highly recommend you see it. As I told you guys last weekend, I saw the Bob Dylan film, A Complete Unknown, which was absolutely fantastic. If you are a Bob Dylan fan, or if you're not a Bob Dylan fan, but you're a fan of his music, you should check it out. Mover Nation, a little bit of housekeeping. We have our members only and Patreon members, channel members, members only meet and greet this Sunday, the 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's a really cool event where we all get on Google Meet, and I get to see all of you, and you get to see me, but I get to meet all of you guys, and you guys get to meet each other on camera. If you turn your camera on, that is. It is fantastic. That will be in the membership section. I'll have the link for that for this weekend. Again, that's this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. If you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter, you will get the link and you will be able to join. It's super cool. I love, because a lot of times I don't even have to talk. I mean, I do, of course. I never shut up anyways. But you guys get to talk and interact with each other as you are in the chat here. But face to face or face to internet. I don't know, camera, phone to phone, computer to computer. Anyways, my sinuses are killing me too because the smoke in the air is kind of back. I've been wearing the mask and everything, but I woke up this morning, I was like, ugh, a little plugged up. So I apologize. So new members, if you are not a channel member and you want to sign up, and you want to be a part of that meet and greet, it's really cool. And just remember, on February the 9th, coming up this next month, we have Collier's AV Club, which is at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, February 9th. And then we have the channel meet and greet, which will be on Sunday, February 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that few events coming up. We are also going to be doing some contests and competitions for you guys. And I'm also really excited about that. One of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing back our pet. We're going to call it Queen Marisol's. What do you say, Karen Fan? What do we say? The Queen's Court, Marisol's Court. We're going to be bringing your pet photos. So you email them, please, to us at info@collierlandry.com, and we'll pick our random pets. This is my neighbor's cat. This is Chidub. Chidub, so like cherub, but with two E's. His dad is Scottish. So Chidub, and Chidub is what we also affectionately refer to in this household as Kitty Boyfriend. Marisol is obsessed with him. So Kitty Boyfriend is is that is today's pet of the day. I guess I should have a little banner for it, but yeah, Mover Nation. This will be Queen Marisol's court, and we will show all the doggies, all the puppies, all the kitties, all the animals. We love them all. And you can, yeah, the cat is very beautiful. He's an outside cat. He roams around. My neighbor walks him. I talk about it a lot on the podcast. He walks him without a leash everywhere, which is a little hairy because these cars blaze through this intersection sometimes, and we get a little, he might dart. But no, he's pretty good, and they do their walks every day. It's super cool. It's very cool to see. So, anyways, all right. So, yes, as I said, California wildfires are still going on. We have the Palisades fire, which is over here. It's now a little bit towards Malibu. I'm not sure the containment. It was at 25% like yesterday. Might be more, might be out. Hopefully it's out, but it's in Malibu area. It's not on this side of the mountain because there's really nothing left to burn, to be honest with you. It's pretty bad. So I have links on my community page to donate where you guys can for the California wildfires, and the Eaton fire, which is about 20 miles east of us. That is still almost at containment, I believe, but that's where the smoke has been coming from because now our winds have shifted blowing west instead of east. So now I'm getting it. So, yeah. And anyway, speaking of fires in California, I haven't talked about this yet, but more Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. There was a thing that came out, and I guess I should play it. And I worked with Justin Baldoni. I did a series of commercials with him. Nice guy. I worked for Wayfarer. He was an interesting cat. We as a DP director, we had a good relationship. So my friend produced. It was cool, but he is this back and forth with him, and I thought everybody was like Team Blake, and then apparently now they've swung Team Justin. So apparently the latest thing, and I'm going to play an excerpt from Megyn Kelly, who is always good for entertainment. I think she's fabulous. Whether or not you like her political views, I like her show. I think it's really well done. Oh, yeah. Hughes fire explodes in Castaic. I guess we could actually maybe even share this. I might actually just share this for a second. We'll catch up really quick and see what's happening here, because this is...
on scene as well. Okay, let's check in on the ground. Speaking of, with our Matthew Seedorf, he's been covering it. Current conditions, Matthew.
Yeah, what a change in the last hour or so. I mean, like we've been saying, firefighters really got the upper hand. It seems like that air attack, that offensive, and the fire ground to really just put this thing in its place for the most part, at least.
So this is about, like I said, about 35, 40 miles north of where I live. You can see it's very dry, very deserty. This is Castaic and Newhall area. 9,400 acres. That's a lot. But yeah, wildfires are a real problem here. We're supposed to have rain this weekend, by the way. So we'll see. But let me try to find this Megyn Kelly video, because what I want to show is apparently there was this kerfuffle, this whole thing. I mean, who knows, with this whole Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively thing. But one of the things that's always interesting, and apparently what she was alluding to, is when they were, these are actors, right? And they are acting. And when they were on camera, and this is the film, it's called It Ends With Us, and it's about DV issues and things like that, in a very tumultuous relationship between the two of them. And Blake Lively's character is threatened very much by Justin Baldoni's, and I've watched some of it. I watched the trailers. I mean, he's scary. He's a good actor. He's scary, and he also directed it as well. But one of the things that, and I'll play Megyn Kelly talking about this, but apparently one of the things alleged in Blake Lively's lawsuit is that he had inappropriately kissed her on set on her neck and whispered some things into her ears that were inappropriate. And look, I've been on sets where actors have gotten into it together, where they have, an actor did something inappropriate. I remember a friend of mine who is now a big, big star. When we were just working on stuff together, and I remember an actress spit on him in a scene, and it was really intense, but he held his character. He didn't break, but as soon as we yelled cut, he jumped up. He was livid. because actors are supposed to, in a sense of professional decorum, you're supposed to let them know before the scene starts, hey, I'm going to get really heated. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to spit in your face, or I'm going to grab you and I'm going to rough you. Like you prepare each other for it. You want to keep in the moment as an actor, but you also want to prepare so they're not like taken aback, like, wait, what the hell's going on? Because then it breaks the scene and it's a whole thing. It's a whole mess, which is what happens. But apparently this whole thing with Blake Lively is that she was alleging that he was inappropriate with her on set. One of the things I love about all these types of things and about the world that we live in is everyone has a camera and they happen to be rolling the entire time, because in the film business, we don't shoot on film anymore. Well, if you have lots of money, you shoot on film, but so shooting on digital is very easy, and you can just let the camera roll and just keep getting your B-roll and get shots that you can use in post-production, etc. And so they're dancing together. And it's this alleged dancing scene. I'll let Megyn Kelly explain a little bit of this, but I love how this just came into play. This was released by TMZ. So let me share this screen here. Again, this is Megyn Kelly, who is apparently taken up for Justin Baldoni.
Mr. Baldoni's response was, I'm not even attracted to you.
Okay. So
nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound. Mr. Baldoni was caressing Ms. Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, I'm not even attracted to you. Well, guess what? TMZ has gotten its hands on that video, and you can hear Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni interacting as themselves, knowing that this is all on video and that this is going to be used to create this dance scene. And no such moment is shown. Just watch it. Watch it.
So this is the raw footage from the set, and the actors are wired up. So their sound is bleeding into the microphone, which is going into the sound mixer, which sometimes they run to the camera. It just depends. You run into the camera nowadays because it doesn't cost anything extra, and you have the sound when you're editing and post. It makes everyone's lives a lot easier because it allows you to sync up sound. But yeah, so they're mic'd, which is like, oh, whoops, we were mic'd.
Oh my gosh, we don't shut up.
And Emily and I we have these moments
Staring.
where we've done it for like 5 minutes. it's like, I think you would find it terrifying. It's literally,
talking about your spouses.
and like
When I
time,
found a sociopath.
and like, time stops.
Yeah.
But like, that's just how it's been for us from the beginning.
No, we're like, oh my god, there's
And they score again.
yeah.
Oh, I also want to point something out to you guys that are watching. So you're looking at this footage and you're probably saying to yourself, God, this looks terrible. This is what films look like before they're color corrected. Color correction is a big part of the process. We shoot in a format. So I'm a cinematographer in a format called log. So the contrast gets flattened. If you're looking at it on a monitor, like a waveform, gets flattened, and then you bring everything back in post, and then it richens up the picture, right? This is what we call log C format. So it looks awful when you're watching it and when you're recording it, but it looks beautiful when you go to color correct it. It looks amazing. So anyways, just a little pro tip on that.
It's like, oh my god, I forgot to tell you something else.
I think that's cute. You guys are really cute.
I think it's more than cute. It's so nosy.
Acting like lovers.
Noses.
And my nose is so big.
Yes. I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that. And then
Deal with your big nose.
just kidding.
Okay, there. Okay, so he puts his like head in her neck
I'm getting dirt on you today.
and says, "Am I getting beard on you?"
Well, it's not that. It's the body makeup.
So anyways, we don't have to get into Megyn Kelly's commentary, but as you see, so this whole controversy keeps going on and on. I don't know where this thing is going to end. Lawsuits. He's being dropped by his agent. The publicist he pays $25,000 a month to drop him. I mean, it's just so crazy. We'll see how all this plays out, but I thought that was interesting. It popped up on my feed today, and I thought, oh wow, okay, this is this is getting stranger and stranger by the day. Again, this is normal actors. And by the way, also as you hear, there's no music when they're dancing too. We practice in the craft of make believe. If you guys aren't familiar with that, so not everything is happening in real time. So if you're like an extra on a movie or something like that, and they're talking, they're not talking. Like you're going watermelon. what we usually say, 'cause it looks like everything. Why do we say watermelon? It looks like everything. So you don't really, looks like any word. So they're just, everybody's quiet, and then, there's no music and anything. So they put all that stuff in post-production, and it becomes very cool. But yeah, this is pretty interesting that, and this came from TMZ, but there's obviously auditory proof that all this creepiness
Okay,
didn't
okay, so he
happen.
puts his like head in her neck.
I'm getting beard on you today.
And this is like normal
It says
for
we can
actors to
hear it.
interact this way. Anyways, I think it's we'll see what happens with this. Very, very interesting, very, very interesting scenario. Again, I've thought about covering it for a while, but I was like, this popped up. I was like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Peas and carrots. Yes, Gringa. Yes. Welcome, Gringa. Nez T is here. I hope that all you guys can make the meet and greet, by the way, all you channel members. All you channel members will make the meet and greet this weekend. All right. So, anyways, that is the drama that is going on with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. It's an eventful life here in Hollywood. Anyways, back to today's subject, which is, as I was saying at the top of the show, on Trisha Addict's podcast, the Mad Rush podcast with Trisha Addicts. She was talking to Windsor Western, who runs her campus media, talking about how TikTok creators have gotten, and people who are consumers of TikTok have pretty much gotten the ick based upon the rug pull of all of this nonsense with, Supreme Court, upholding the decision. Is Trump going to save it? Is Biden going to save it? And what's happening? And this is one of the things that, I used to create a lot of content. I've had a lot of success on that platform. I used to create a lot of content for TikTok, which I love, but it's like I couldn't commit to the platform for the last, year and a half, because everybody kept talking about being shut down, and they're going to shut it down. Now they're going to pass another bill. They're going to pass another. Oh, it's spying. Oh, it's this and that. So I just stopped making stuff, which every time I make stuff for it, I get a great reception, and you guys love it. It's awesome. But she was discussing this on the platform, how they got the ick. And I want to talk a little bit about this. And again, my personal ick was like, I don't want to make content for this platform. It's not going to be around. This is ridiculous that people get to know your content, then all of a sudden you lose everything overnight. It seems you can't rely. You can't rely on anything like this. And as content creators, as we create stuff for you guys, our audience, we rely on these platforms, not only for our livelihoods, but we also rely on these platforms to be able to deliver content to you guys. So you guys can watch it. You guys can listen. You guys can download the podcast. You guys can, watch the YouTube video. You guys can check out the shorts and all these Instagram reels, all these things. These are all completely dependent upon a platform that we have zero control over as creators. So that to me was the biggest issue with all of this. Is like, if you're constantly we're going to take it away. Okay, no, it's back now. Oh, we're going to take it away. Oh, it's back. It's just this back and forth that just makes you crazy, right? It's like you're kind of chasing your tail. Like, what's the definition of insanity? Going around and around again, doing the same thing and getting the same results and expecting different results. Like, okay, we'll create content. Oh, but it's going to change. Oh, no, it's not going to change. It's the rug pull. It's the constant rug pull, which makes creators and creative people crazy. Makes us crazy because we have enough chaos in our lives making content for these platforms. So the loss of control and the government's interference in this in the form of a TikTok ban is what made the creators initially start to just be like, okay, so all this, you're telling me that I've chosen this platform. I put all this work into building this. I've developed my livelihood from this. And then it goes away at the whims of some senator or some president or some House committee or, and TikTok helped a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses were dependent upon TikTok to find their audience, to find their customers, as were creators. And so, to have that rug pulled and to realize that you can't really express yourself freely and creatively and reach wide audiences, and that having that control stripped away without our input. So that, I said top 5 ways. That is one of them. The second one is a lot of the things that are going around online is a lot of people are talking about a fear of censorship. This has been talked about a lot here on YouTube. People censoring the platforms, things of like shadow banning and things like that, which I don't necessarily believe in shadow banning. people talk about it, but nobody can ever offer me any solid proof of what it looks like, because everybody I know that's been, quote, shadow banned has talked about something they should have been talking about in the first place. So it's like, I don't know if that's really a shadow ban or not, if you're talking about something that you shouldn't be talking about in the first place. Just call that like, you shouldn't open your mouth. Anyways, that's my opinion. But it's this uncertainty. So number 3, uncertainty and instability, because all these creators, all of us are relying on these platforms. It's like YouTube. You know, YouTube was doing a lot with censoring stuff during the pandemic, and a lot of people were in a massive uproar about it. That's why they went to places like Rumble, for example. And so, you know, and I never did that, and I don't particularly like Rumble as a platform. I don't know many people that use it, but yeah, I think there's just the fear and looming fear of the censorship and the instability, and these platforms are already unstable to begin with. We don't know if a piece of content, for example, is going to resonate with you guys. Like here, I have 58 people in live. 2 weeks ago, I had 30,000. You know what I mean? It's like everything's up and down all at once. We never know what's going to work, what's not going to work. You know, here I am with you guys, Mover Nation, of course, but you know, we depend on this to make a living. So when it's already unstable enough, to have this extra added instability of you're going to get shut down, is like as I referred to in the podcast the other night with Roger Rhodes. We were talking. I said the sword of Damocles is just constantly hanging over your head, and it's not cool. And I think it has turned these creators off, and looked at platforms like YouTube, which seem to be more stable, right? I mean, YouTube's been around since 2005, I think. So 20 years, I guess. You know, we're here, 2006. I don't know exactly, but these platforms could just take away things at a whim. This is notorious. I have friends that have developed channels on Facebook and had them just disappear overnight for whatever reason. And they put a lot of work into this. So it definitely, for me as a content creator, I called my web person, Fabulous Karen Fan, moderator here. I said, you know what, we should think about just putting my content also on the website to also have a secondary place where all of this lives, so it doesn't go away in the future. You never know what's going to happen. And I think that was the thing. Also, a big key point of this is the overwhelming distrust in our government that has been fueled by things like TikTok, for example, and conspiracy theories. And why do people do this? What are the agendas behind this? What are they threatening to ban these types of things under the veil of, oh, we're doing this for security reasons, or we're worried about China or spying or all these activities? But really, could it be that they're just trying to censor you, and the distrust, and they just want to control, right? And I'm not going to dive down a rabbit hole about that. Control of all that. You could go to plenty of other channels that talk about that. I'm not going to get into that, but it does make one think, because when something like this happens, and then they couldn't get it together to it's still up in the air. I think Trump signed the executive order or the stay for like 75 days. So they got to find a buyer here in the US. So we still don't know if anything's going to happen or not. We still have no clue. Marisol is very happy with her Chewy. I'll have to share it with you guys. Present our little extra camera. There she is. Marisol. She could not be less concerned with with being able to be on camera. Yeah, you don't care, baby, do you? All right. Anyways, so you add the censorship, the rug pulling, the complete uncertainty, the loss of financial income, the loss of a community. So when you talk about, I'm looking at this from a creator standpoint, but when you guys, the audience, lose your community that you've gotten to know, or your creators that you love, and all of a sudden they're gone and you don't have that. We talked about this over the weekend with on Sunday with Roger Rhodes. You have this void that's in your life because you become dependent on this content. You become dependent on these interactions and saying to your friend, hey, did you see the TikTok that I sent you? Blah, blah. it does in a lot of ways. And I know a lot of people trash social media, think it's solipsistic and all that, but it does in a way that was definitely exacerbated by the pandemic. It does create a sense of community with people that you've never met before. I can remember during the Arab Spring in 2011. And I remember just going on to Twitter. This is 14 years ago. Wow. It's a while ago. The Arab Spring against Hosni Mubarak in Egypt, if you guys remember this. And I remember watching Twitter to see all of the content because people were posting to Twitter all the time, updates and everything. And we become so dependent upon these platforms. And then to have that again, that uncertainty or loss of community. Anyways, these are all the things, all of the reasons that I believe that TikTok has officially been referred to as the ick. And for those of you who don't know what the ick is, I used to have a girlfriend that would send me videos on Instagram of all places and TikTok of girls getting the ick by guys. So yeah, it's just the ick. You just don't want to hear about it. Brian W is here. Brian, how are you? That is our local law enforcement officer, keeping the neighborhood safe. Thank you so much. 14 years ago, yeah, hard to imagine the Arab Spring. I mean, you talk about a time for change, and that whole situation was really escalated by Twitter because people were able to, when they were not able to communicate directly with one another or engage in protest or peaceful protests, they would use social media. It was wild. That was one of the first real things I was like, this is very powerful stuff. This is very powerful stuff. Anyways, yeah, he's not paying attention. Yes, Marisol is not paying attention at all. Anyways, Mover Nation, it doesn't matter what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let's go through some of your comments. I'd love to see where everybody is. And by the way, big shout out to our mods. We have Gen X to the 7th power here. We have Karen Fan. We have Cat Loves Catskills. We have Amber Winnell, our fabulous moderators. Obviously, our wonderful overlord of the moderators, Nightbot, is here. Thank you guys so much. Gen X to 7th power. I think I mentioned you already. Thank you so much. I couldn't do it without these guys. They do great work behind the scenes, which, by the way, our mod appreciation gifts are going out. They're going out to Karen Fan tomorrow, and she is dispersing them to everyone. So it's happening. It's a little late. Apologize. 2 wax rings if you were laying on time. I don't know. I must have missed something in the comments. That's funny, though. Oh, yes, the 2 wax rings of the toilet. Oh, that's funny. Yes. During the pandemic, I broke a toilet. I fell into the toilet and knocked it off its thing. Thank God it didn't burst the pipe or nothing like that happened. Since I was talking about the pandemic earlier, very embarrassing stuff. Like, wow, that was 5 years ago, guys. It's been 5 years since the pandemic. I can't believe it. Actually, it's been a wild up and down last 4 or 5 years. And for those of you, when I live in California, obviously the pandemic was a different experience for me than it was in other states. But I remember driving home. It was March 25th when we were ordered to stay home. And I remember driving on the freeway and I drive a truck. I almost got ran off the freeway by probably a Toyota Prius. It was driving like 100 some miles an hour. I didn't even know the Priuses went that fast and almost smashed me into a guardrail. It was wild. People were driving like maniacs. It was like the world was ending. And it sort of felt like that this last week with the fires too, for sure. Yes, I broke a toilet. I fell into it. I stumbled and fell into it. It's an embarrassing story. I was putting on my pants and fell, boom, and hit it and knocked it off the wax thing. I was like, but thank God I didn't break the pipe, or else that would have been just a disaster. Right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. Oh, it was so bad. I was living with roommates at the time, so I had moved in. I had gotten le divorce, but not really a divorce. Just split up with a girlfriend and was like, okay, I got to find a place to live, and we ended up getting a house together. And I left after a couple months because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go move to the beach where things are amazing, things are fun. Why are my ringer's going off. Read my last chat message, says Karen Fan. Collier Landry. Amanda and Steve, pray for Adam Thornton, his business call. Oh, I'm so sorry. Adam Thornton. Oh, yeah. Let's pray let's keep Adam Thornton in our prayers. His business caught fire today. So he was in the, oh, that's so sad. I'm so sad. Anyways, pray for Adam Thornton. That's just terrible. I hope he was insured. I mean, oh, what a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. This is the thing living out here. Dry weather. We're supposed to have rain come this weekend, but could it have come like, I don't know, 2.5 weekends ago? I complain about rain sometimes, but I would have gladly we had atmospheric rivers last year and the year before. We had so much rain. We get so much downpour in a matter of like hours or a day. I think we had more rainfall in 2 days than we had in like 3 years or 10 years or something. It was crazy. Anyways, prayers up to Adam Thornton and his business and his family, and we pray that they're okay. I split up with a girlfriend, and I split up with the toilet. That's a great comment, Helen Tudor Douglas. Yes, split up with a girlfriend and split up with the toilet. Yes. Prayers to all affected. Absolutely, Brian. Absolutely. Oh boy. Marisol, how is your treat going? I gotta watch her sometimes because I realize that she could eat the whole thing and then it can, get lodged in her throat, which would be not something I'm eager to experience. Sherry choked on it once a while ago, a long time ago. But in your defense, says Amber Winnell, I broke a bathtub pipe off inside the wall once when I slipped and caught myself off the faucet. Oh wow, that's serious. Graciela Gracie G says, yes, Beach, I'm looking to buy a block of land on the beach down south, Melbourne beaches, a change from my off-grid shed in North Victoria, Australia, near the desert. I have never been to Melbourne, and I wish I was there right now because I keep promising myself one of these days I'm going to get to go to the Australian Open, and that would be amazing. But alas, that is not what's happening at the moment. But yeah, I am definitely looking forward to being able. I want to go to the U.S. Open this year too. I love tennis. I grew up playing tennis. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. By the way, this is just me kind of rambling. As I said, talk about TikTok, talk a little about the Baldoni v. Lively situation, talked about the movie. Again, if you, as I said, I know, I feel you might not like the Brian Johnson thing, but I'm telling you, the documentary on Netflix was so well done. So well done. I cannot recommend it enough. And if you have not seen The Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan film, go check that out as well. Apparently, The Brutalist is really good too, but it's 2.5 hours. There's like an intermission in the whole thing. Apparently, The Brutalist is worth seeing as well, so I got to check that out. Yeah, guys, new things are coming to the channel, and as we step into 2025. By the way, I received a really wonderful note from someone on the channel that reached out because I've been posting these affirmations every day for our channel members on our bulletin board community board. And somebody responded with a really nice comment and said, this is from Becky Holland, 5703. She says, I need to look forward to the daily affirmations, going through some struggles, and you do inspire and uplift my spirits. Thank you, Collier. Well, thank you, Becky Holland, for 5703 for saying that. I appreciate that. A lot of you guys responded. Collier, Brenda Redmond says, I just love how positive and uplifting you are. You make me smile. Well, I'm so good. Better to make people smile than to make people cry or to make people upset. It's much better. It's much better to be able to lead a positive life and hopefully uplift people. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying those because I kind of did it as a whim. I was like, okay, let's let's try it out for January affirmations. Okay, we're getting into a new year. Let's get our self set and let's move forward. This will be great. So I was excited, and I'm glad that it's really resonating with you guys, my audience, because you guys are the best. All right, guys, I'm going to cut the show off a little early. I apologize, but like I gotta blow my nose. It is the worst. I'm so congested. As I said, Mover Nation, you guys got to check out those films. Check out the meet and greet for all channel members, channel members, Patreon supporters this Sunday, January 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific is our live members only meet and greet. And then we have upcoming next month, February 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have Collier's AV Club. I don't know where we're going to watch yet, but we're going to figure it out very soon. And then obviously the channel membership, the channel members and Patreon supporter meet and greet at the end of the month. So every month on the second Sunday of the month, we have our AV Club, which is where we watch movies together, watch a short film, or not a short film, watch a TV series, watch a docuseries, watch a documentary, a film, whatever. And I offer you commentary about it. We get to engage in the comments. It's really, really fun. Also, then we have Collier's meet and greets, which are Mover Nation meet and greets at the end. This is the last Sunday of the month, and those we involve, and you guys get to be on camera. We do them on Google Meet, and everybody gets to meet each other, and it's a really, really fun time. That's for all. Both of those are for channel members or Patreon supporters. I love doing it. I love meeting you guys. I love to talk about film and movies, and while we're watching them together and talk about my insider sort of experience. We've watched my film, Murder in Mansfield. That's actually how all this started, to be honest with you. So check that out. Lots of things coming up, and then send in your pictures of your pets, because we want to be able to feature them here on the show. And with a little write-up, we'll talk about your wonderful little fur babies. Yes, already the end of the month. I guess, yeah, it is almost already the end of the month. I mean, there's 5 more days after Sunday, but yeah, we're approaching it pretty quickly. Mover Nation, I appreciate all of you guys being here. Kind of a lightweight live today. Nothing too heavy to talk about. Just keeping it super simple. As I said, I'm not feeling the best, but I appreciate all you guys being here. Big shout out to Helen Tudor Douglas for your super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much. And again, all of our channel members, Patreon supporters, you guys are amazing, and our wonderful, wonderful mods. You guys are awesome. As I always like to close out the show, I like to offer you guys this. Look, it is all about being kind with one another, supporting one another. I know that we're in new political territory as of a couple of days ago, and a lot of people are. So a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are ruffled. Feathers are ruffled, and it is what it is. But we will all get through this together. Cat Loves Catskills, thank you so much for the super sticker. We will see you Sunday. Graciela Gracie G, thank you so much for gifting a membership. So I'll leave that up so you guys can hopefully snag one of those really fast. Love that. And yeah, I love all of you guys. I really appreciate you guys supporting the program, coming here, listening to me, even if I drabble on and on, supporting little Miss Marisol. And yeah, as we go through these challenging times, as we go through a new year and a lot of dramatic changes pretty quickly, just remember to love one another, always be kind, because that's how you can affect the world and make it a better place. And that is ultimately what Mover Nation is all about. On that note, guys, well, here's the outro.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support today's program, please click the links in the description of the show notes of today's episode. And if you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see y'all on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.